Hello and welcome back or welcome to the channel. I'm LoudGuns and today we're going to be taking a look at what I think are 5 of Star Citizen's most underrated ships. There are an absolute ton of ships in SC, 207 of them to be exact, and some get a lot more screen time as the de facto meta picks. With so much choice there are bound to be a few gems that slip through the cracks. So if this sounds good to you, then grab a cup of tea while I roll the intro, then let's get into it. Just for clarity, these are my top picks, but with the aforementioned number of ships available, it's highly likely that you'll watch this and would have selected a few different ones, or maybe you've got a completely different 5 to me. Goal here is to expand the number of ships that folks are looking at, and maybe providing a few off-meta recommendations, highlighting ships that have cool features or functionality that might be easily overlooked, particularly by a newer player. So please do get involved down in the comments and provide your ideas, but just be sure to add a bit of the why to support your suggestions. Also, as ever with this channel, I'm not paying any attention to how much the price is in dollars, euros or yen. The ships I'm suggesting can all be earned in game, and I would only ever recommend a basic starter package to folks checking out SC. If you are interested, then just be sure to use a referral code when you create your account. Mine's the one up on screen, but if you've got any friends who play already, please just ask them for theirs. So without further ado, let's take a look at some ships. The MISC Hull A will set you back 1.7 million credits in game, and it's a perfect entry-level cargo hauling option. It offers 64 SEU of capacity, which is carried externally on spindles that unfold, much like its big brother the Hull C. With the ability to stack multiple multi-drop small hauls, this is a ship that can wash its face and pay you back in just a couple of hours of gameplay. External versus internal cargo is finally a debate worth having with readily accessible cargo hauling missions and the full physicalization of cargo boxes. While the cargo here is obviously a lot less protected, the speed of loading and unloading is often a worthwhile trade-off, particularly if you're planning to operate in safer areas of space. The Argo Raft, which similarly offers external cargo but has a higher capacity of 192 SEU, is the current flavour of the month in the cargo hauling world. But the Hull A will set you back about half of what the Raft will, so I see it as a great stepping stone for haulers. Plus, and I think this is where the Hull A gets seriously underrated, its small footprint when folded provides a lot more versatility. I recently used mine as a transporter for making runs back and forth to my Idris, as I was able to squeeze it in alongside 3 prospectors for our mining barge experiment. As we see more cap ships come online, there's more reason to be basing off them for longer stints, and having a Hull A in your hangar could make a perfect addition as a resupply craft. And now for something completely different. If anyone says they're getting a bit bored of Star Citizen, I always recommend that they give racing a go. It's one of those things that folks are often semi-aware of but haven't actually tried out, and it can be a whole lot of fun. So with this in mind, my second pick is going to be the Consolidated Outland Mustang Gamma, which will cost you just shy of 1.2 million. Now once again, as per the whole ethos of this vid, there are arguably better racing ships out there. Taking a quick look over on SCR, I can see to nobody's surprise that the P-52 Merlin is the top ship by a fair margin, and the poor racing Mustang doesn't even make it into the top 16. But for me, it's the rule of cool. I'm not going racing to make bank, or break world records, I'll leave that to people like Tint. I'm in it to just have fun and a cool experience. And for that, there's just something about the Gamma. The visibility is amazing, letting you really feel the rush of swooping past girders and down through canyons. And there's something about it that feels a bit more unruly. To me, it's more of a bucking bronco that you desperately try to cling onto as you rocket round the tracks. As of patch 4.3, sadly racing missions do seem to still be broken and disabled, but keep in mind that you can always hop into Arena Commander and rent this, and any other racing ships, with reg. As an added bonus, you don't have to worry about heading back out to the track every time you crash. If Pew Pew is more your thing, then maybe check out the Anvil Hawk. The Bounty Hunter will set you back 2.65 million. Other fighters might have far more name recognition, the Gladius, the Arrow, the Hornet, but the Hawk packs a significant punch with a total of 6 smaller weaponed hardpoints, 2 size 1s and 4 size 2s. One of the main reasons I view the Hawk as an underrated choice though is the increased significance of carrier gameplay. Thanks to the Transformers-esque folding pattern, it creates an incredibly small footprint, allowing you to pack far more of these on board your Idrises and your Polarises. But in the longer term, I also think it's worth considering potential changes to bounty hunting. Right now, any combat ship is an effective bounty hunting vessel. All you have to do is pew-pew the bad guys and you'll get your payday. But in the future, a bit more specialisation might be required, with pods to hold captured prisoners, something that only a few ships possess. The Hawk does only have space for 1 in the rear, but it's a lot better than none. And while we wait for updates to bounty hunting, at least it provides an admittedly uncomfortable seat for a passenger. The Origin 300 series has always been something of a soft spot for me. The 325A was the first ship I ever pledged for in Star Citizen, very much a rule of cool purchase given the unique profile. But the one that I tend to always rack up some credits to buy back every time there's a wipe is the Pathfinder Focus 315P. It sacrifices firepower versus the other variants in the series, exchanging the nose-mounted weapon hardpoint for a tractor beam instead. I think the larger vehicle-mounted tractors are going to prove increasingly useful as the game progresses, particularly when we get into the realm of shifting around large crates like the 32 SEU versions, and even parts of ships. Meanwhile, the ship packs more cargo carrying capacity than the others in the series, with 12 SEU versus the 8 found on the 300i. This doesn't seem like too much, but it makes the 315 my favourite ship for small smuggling runs. Sneaking in and out with 12 SEU of Partilium, for example, will still net you 440k of profit per run. And hopefully in something as unassuming and nimble as the 315, you might be able to get in and get out without being noticed, or would-be pirates might just let you go about your business without springing the trap, holding out for a bigger prize to roll up. Now everything else on the list has been more solo oriented, and down at the smaller end of the spectrum. But I thought I had to include at least one multi-crew vessel. The one I would highlight here is the Aegis Retaliator. It's still towards the cheaper end of multi-crew ships though, at a smidge over 7.9 million. I love the submarine vibes that the Tally gives off. Cramped corridors and crew quarters that will leave you practically sitting in each other's laps may take a little negotiating with your org mates, but it results in the ship packing an awful lot into a pretty small footprint. As well as the pilot, you have space on board for 5 turret gunners, each controlling dual-size 3 weapons. And while this doesn't sound like a huge amount of firepower, the healthy power supply means each gun, if it gets standard laser repeaters, gets 600 shots of sustain. This coverage works well if using the ship for either of its main purposes, either as a bomber or a cargo hauler. And this allows you to fend off would-be pirates while running high-value cargo, or keeping fighters off your back as you make your torpedo run. The modules can be alternated in the vehicle loadout manager, giving you either the option of 74 SEU worth of cargo or a payload of 6 size 9 torps. And since the modules are split between front and rear bays, you can even opt for a mixed loadout. So while the cargo capacity might not seem like too much, if you were again to run super high value commodities like Partilium in Pyro, you could still make this work well and pay out a full crew. And having that extra firepower on board might make pirates think twice. So there we have it for my pick of the 5 most underrated ships in SC. Hopefully it's given you some food for thought and a few options of ships that you might have overlooked to get out and give a go. And be sure to check down in the comments to see what other people's suggestions are as well. If you enjoyed the vid and think I've earned it, then I would massively appreciate you dropping a like, hitting subscribe and sharing it with your friends. If you'd like to take your support of the channel a step further, I do have a Patreon which is linked in the video description that just keeps me chumping burritos while I edit. But honestly, just by watching, you're already doing more than enough. But with all that said, I just want to say thank you very much for watching to the end, and I look forward to seeing you next time.